What's up, y'all? Welcome. Today's the first episode number 1 of So You're an Ex. What's next? I am KeYsha with a Y, aka HipHopMom, and this is.
I'm Ovambo Josef. Everybody knows me as Joe.
So this show is all about being happy exes, which we claim to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy exes.
Right.
And today's story is KeYsha and Joe, the origin story. So how did we meet, Joe?
If I remember correctly, I had actually met you a few times before.
Just one.
We've been to the same shows before. We've been, we know some of the same people. We've been to the same parties, but just not ever introduced. So
yeah.
It was actually at my house. You had a party at my house one time.
On a date.
On a date with my boy. So I guess a couple of months after that, I was living by myself. And I forget the name of the apartment building, but a friend of ours,
my mutual friend.
It was a Sunday, I think. We were having, you were at the pool with your friends, and my boys at my house. We were having some beers, and he says, "Hey, I got these girls that mind these girls come over." He was like, "Hell yeah, bring them girls over here." And so. You came to the house, and we was, if I remember, Charlotte was there, right? She was in there?
Yeah. Charlotte was there. It was me, Charlotte, Shantae.
Shantae, that's right, okay.
And a couple others.
It was Big John was there, my boys, and Bush was
there. Kelly and Matt. Well, because we were with Kelly and Matt all day.
Right, but then, but Matt didn't come over. He wasn't at their party.
No, I don't remember.
But Big John was there, and then my man Joe was there. So we started talking, and then like somewhere in the conversation, KeYsha goes, "Hey, do you have that D'Angelo album?" So the voodoo, she said, "Yeah, put that on." And
I think that was shortly after my dad had sat on my voodoo CD. And I didn't have it anymore.
Yeah. So put the CD on, and me and you started talking, and I think I might have said something fresh or something like that. Probably. And then I asked for your number. And that's
and we talked every day since then.
We talked every day since.
So that's how we met. It's funny because it progressed rather rapidly. And in retrospect, his friends were like, "Yo, I know," because he's a city boy and I'm a country girl, kinda. And his friends knew that I had him, as his friend said, when they came to our house and he didn't have any shoes on. Because city boys always wear shoes.
Right.
But yeah, so we talked every day since then. We ended up moving together shortly after that, like 4 or 5 months after that. And married by the next year, I think, less than a year after that.
Yeah, we met. I want to say it was July or August.
Yeah, we met in June. I think it was June. June.
Right.
And we were pregnant by November. And
that's okay. That's what the math comes.
Yeah. Pregnant by November. Married the next April, and baby in August of 2002. That's our oldest son. And then baby the following November of 2003. So we became a 4-pack, and this 4-pack decided to get up and move to Norfolk, Virginia, because my job gave me an opportunity there. So we have 2 babies and us and nobody else.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was a little rough. It was definitely rough. We moved to a place where we didn't know anybody, and we made quick friends. But when you have 2 little babies, ain't no friends quick enough to ain't no friends quick enough to let you keep your babies while you maintain.
Yeah, so that was a really difficult time, because right before I was at home with the kids. So they maybe went to daycare for a little bit in the beginning, but I was home with them almost for a year, right? So they hadn't even had daycare.
Nope.
Experienced that. So we had to think about that. And our first couple of experiences with daycare made us almost want to not be there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely. We had our youngest was spoiled. He didn't like me when he was born. He loved his daddy, and his daddy would stay up and hold him all night because he's a vampire. And so when it was time for them to go to daycare, our youngest actually got them put out of bed. We found the perfect daycare, the perfect one. It was great pricing because we had 2 little kids. So daycare was like looking at 4, and this was in 2004, 2005, around $1,400 a month. So we found a place. The lady was.
It was at lady's house. It was
yeah.
So
she had a whole basement built out for like a daycare. So it's like $800 a month. We were like, oh word.
Yeah. It was a little far though.
It was far.
Like
it was far.
30-minute ride.
Yeah.
To get there.
Yeah.
She was Spanish.
Yeah.
The lady was Spanish.
Yeah. But our baby got them kicked out. Yeah, baby got them kicked out
every day.
All day, every day.
She was like, yo, he'll be fine. Just let him cry. Like, yo, he cried from the moment he got there to the time I picked him up. Every day for a week. She's like, yo, I cannot take it.
Got him kicked out.
Gotta go.
Got him kicked out now. So
why was he like that?
Well, it's your fault. You held him all night.
Every day.
Yes. Every day, all night.
Right.
You held him every day, all night, and play video games. Every day, all night.
He hated me leaving.
He did, and he wasn't even paying me attention. So we finally got them settled and ended up paying enough to a place that didn't care whether he cried all day or night. We lived there for 3 years, and then we moved to Northern Virginia.
Yeah. And that was even more expensive. Daycare was one point our daycare was $3,800 a month.
Yeah, we had friends in the DMV area, but they were like an hour and a half drive away.
24 miles away, but an hour and a half.
No. Who?
Yeah, it was only, it was only 20.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So
the traffic was just so bad. Like, it would, we'd be like, oh, we can just go see, your aunt or whatever. Yeah. But it'll just be, it ended up taking an hour and a half to get anywhere.
Yeah. So ended up moving back to North Carolina in 2009, back to family, back to our support system. The kids were in 1st and 2nd grade when we moved back here. Yeah. Because
Kamadi went to private kindergarten, and we were worried about him. If in North Carolina they allow him,
they would allow him to go to 1st grade.
His birthday is in November, and he's young. He's been the youngest person in his class
forever.
Yeah.
And so moving back here, it had its ups, being that we had familial support, and we were close to his family, close to my family, friends back around. But it also had its detriment.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you were happy.
I was happy
to be here.
To be back. Yeah.
And I wasn't.
You weren't happy to be, but you weren't happy to be gone.
In a way, I felt isolated.
Yeah. But you made quick friends from, like, I didn't have any friends at my job.
Right.
Like, I had my employees, but you hangs out with their employees. You had friends at work. I didn't have friends at work.
So I think if we look back at it, Norfolk, when we lived in Norfolk, it probably was my best time professionally.
That's the happiest I've ever seen you professionally.
Yeah, probably my best time professionally. And I worked a lot. Like, I worked, when we first got there, I got a job at the canteen warehouse place.
The commissary.
Yeah, the commissary place. Then I got a job at
But we got free formula though.
Yeah. I had a job at and I got a job, and then I started teaching again.
Yeah.
And that was
the best. That was the best. Yeah.
The thing about Norfolk was that everything else sucked. You know what I mean? Like the housing, like it didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, I was just there.
Yeah.
I was just there, and me and my friend Shawana, like, we went up there to a show in Newport News, and I was like, yo, let's stop by my old house. You would never recognize it, but yo, that neighborhood is even more dilapidated than it was when we lived in it. Yeah.
Because there were families who lived there who had been living there for years.
Yeah.
And they were starting to die off.
Yep.
And
so our neighbors, like our neighbor when we lived in Norfolk, she died of stage 4 cancer. And like literally, she didn't know that she had cancer. She went to the doctor one day, and the doctor was like, "You got cancer," and then like she literally died the next month. It was so sad. But so that's the happiest professionally I've ever seen you when you were teaching them kids in Norfolk and coaching them kids in Norfolk. Yeah. He was the coached tennis, and he was a math teacher and volleyball coach.
Remember that? That was dope, yo.
And one of his students that he coached in tennis was like a 13-year-old girl, and she got pregnant. She was the best tennis player on the team.
She wasn't the best. She was getting there.
She was
going to be the best.
She had potential.
So I think it was a grade. They went 6th, 7th, 8th, right?
6th, 7th, 8th.
So she was in the 7th grade,
mm-hmm.
and so there was some tennis players on the team that were better, but they were 8th grade. But she was going to be the better one.
And then she got pregnant. And then
I don't want to go talk to her mom.
So we literally we lived in the neighborhood that he taught. The kids came from that we taught in. So we had the mall one weekend. The boys are running around. I go chase after them and come back to him, and it's this little girl, she's 13, pushing a baby stroller, and her mom. And her mom is literally hitting on him like strong. Like I walk up with the 2 little Browns in tow, and the mom is hitting on him. And I had to be like, excuse me, what's going on here?
She was like, oh, so you're Mr. Brown. Because, I mean, she had just met me. She never came to tennis matches,
mm-hmm.
never called. And I'm like, so you're Mr. Brown. I see why she wanted to play. But I'm like, yo, lady, your kid is 13 with a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, let's talk about that. How's she doing? Like,
and literally, that broke your heart so much. Yeah. That broke your heart so bad. So that's where we moved back here in 2009. Boys are in school. They're growing. We're like just trying to make a life here. And there are challenges.
What were said challenges, KeYsha?
I guess just being immersed back into an environment where you know a lot of people. Because you know a lot of people. I know a lot of people. And the struggle is real.
Right. I had a lot of, when we first moved back initially, I was kind of upset. I guess I was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You picked a place for us to live I hadn't even seen before we got
mm-hmm.
there, which I felt like kind of like that's not a good partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess there was some bitter feelings.
How did it happen like that though?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
Oh, you came. You said, "Yo, you came to me when we lived in North Virginia." You said we lived in Centerville, and you said, "Yeah, I'm ready to go back home."
I'm ready to go. Okay. I think that year I missed Mother's Day and Father's Day, and then something else like big family related thing, and I just was like, I am ready to go home.
I never even thought of that. I never even knew why.
Yeah,
you wanted to go. So I was like, what?
And plus it was so expensive there, like literally.
But that next year would have been dope because they all would have been in public school.
Yeah, it would have been, but still, when we moved back here, I wasn't working 40 hours a week. I was working 32 hours a week. So I could be home more for the kids. And we still were more up than we were when we lived in
when we first moved back, I didn't start working until
it was that a year? I think.
No, not a year. I was doing stuff, but I was making money and doing whatever. But I went to my first job was at Torchlight, right? Right? Well, yeah, we still living on Navajo, and I started working at Torchlight for maybe a month. The place is horrible. Don't take your kids there. Oh my goodness! You gonna say that?
Don't take your kids there.
Yo.
Anyway, so it was rough. It was rough from when we moved. We didn't really have a lot of time together. Because it was a like really quick relationship. So we were still learning each other as we moved through the different stages in just any standard stages of the relationship. Just getting to know each other, getting to know each other's families, getting to know each other's love languages.
Right, and I think that we were, so, being parents so vigorously. That we just jumped in, and that was the most important thing for us. And because we both shared, like, it was our thing. Like, that was what we loved the most about it. And then our kids taught us what real love was and what that was. And me and her experiences like this. Like, it's,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
And I think we isolated each other because we were so concerned with our responsibilities as parents.
And then we were isolated as a family because we moved away.
Right.
So we get back here.
I felt like we had a lot of family support, though.
We did. Oh, yeah. We definitely had family support, but from afar. Yeah. And
but they would come. They would come. Mom,
right.
We thought my mom was going to be able to stay with us.
Yeah.
And she got really, really sick.
Yeah, that was when we were in.
That was tough.
Centerville. Yeah, that was tough. Right. So, we really, when we moved back here, we had more support, and then that meant more freedom, and it turned into individual freedom as opposed to couples freedom, right. I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then this shit just started to fall apart.
Right. I think we should talk about also when we had those moments to us to connect or whatever. You were sick and we didn't know what was wrong with you. Yeah. And it would be something, and you're just, you deal with that, and your body just wasn't.
I was tired all the time and just giving like, all that I had, cranky and tired. So I have Crohn's disease. It became very active. Actually, when we lived in Norfolk, and I thought I had the proper treatment, but it really wasn't until no. I was sick when I lived in Norfolk. I had symptoms, but it really wasn't until 2010, after we moved back here, that I was diagnosed. So I was tired all the time and cranky, and y'all see how voluptuous I am now. I was like 110 pounds and just weak and just listless and giving all I had to like maintain like just regular family shit, and didn't really have time for him. And
then we had kids too. So
we had kids, right? Yeah.
So it would be, the routine would be go to sleep, wake up in the morning, take the kids, get the kids ready, I go to work. I had to be to school super early. And did I pick them up from daycare? Or did you pick them up?
You did. It depends.
Right. So
it
would depend. Yeah. But normally, I go get the kids, come home. You'll come home, we get food. We might eat and just watch TV or something. Or me and the kids are in the video gamers. And you'll go to sleep. And you'll go to sleep. And then that was it. And if something was wrong with you, like it was,
something was wrong with you.
No, I'm saying, like, not only that, but it was concerning. It was a stressful time as well. You know what I'm saying?
I was super sick. So, kind of, my health gets on the back on the right track, but we just found that we just had lost our connection. And that's something that happens in like just regular dating relationships, right? Like we're both dating again, and you find yourself enamored with someone, but if you're not connected with them on a regular basis, then that connection fizzles out. And that's the same with any kind of relationship, like work relationship, love relationship. If you're not doing the work to keep that connection alive, then the connection's gonna die. Now, sometimes you can respark it if you do, and it takes a lot more work.
Right.
But a lot of times it shit just fizzles out.
In our situation as well, I mean, this is significant. I think this is a significant thing, was that because I felt like we weren't connected and all these other things, fucking it happened for real. I had a mistress, you know what I'm saying? So Is that like an old-fashioned word and shit? Like, so
a mistress.
I had a woman on the side, and it was an inappropriate
He
relationship.
had a whole girlfriend.
But
like it was a whole girlfriend. Like y'all were planning trips to places and planning to do shit, and she was talking shit about me on Twitter. Like it was a whole lot.
But I had ended that relationship.
You had, but she didn't end the relationship. Like you ended the relationship, and we talked about this even after, like her in particular, even after we broke up and were friends again. Like she wasn't ready to be done. You were done.
But yo, that was 2 years before we broke up.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. I know that. But she wasn't ready to be done. So she was continuing on with her thing, right? I remember, like, clearly, I was at a work event and someone called me and said, "Hey, look at this." And I looked and it was like a whole like revelation. Like out of all the things that I thought were wrong with our relationship, I never thought that this would happen. And that was my naivete, I guess. Not to say that I knew it was you were gonna do it. It's just like it hit.
You knew I was gonna do it?
No. Not to say that I knew you were gonna do it. It just hit me like a ton of fucking bricks, like all the other shit that we have going on, like this. So it happened or whatever, and I really felt bad for the little girl. Like I really felt bad for her until like 2 days after, like we initially.
Yeah, you was talking to her like y'all friends and shit. Right?
No, not at all. I talked to her that original day, the first day, and then a couple of days later, she called me, and it was this whole inquisition about me and your relationship. So that's when I like lost my shit on her.
Yeah, he was like,
I lost my shit.
About my damn husband.
Right, bitch. What are you doing?
It's not funny. It's not funny.
It is funny now.
Yeah, but it was tough. That was tough. It broke my heart to see that you were upset.
Y'all still friends? Yes. You are?
No. She lives in England.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, punch her in the face for me.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway. So, yeah, that happened. And it just, even after that, we did the whole couples thing, right? We went to therapy, individual and couples. And I really learned, like, there's some things that I learned in therapy that I still carry with me through my interpersonal relationships today. But I just could. And this is me. I just could not anymore. And so we broke up, and we, unlike many other couples, have never backslid. We never backslid. Nope, we never backslid. No. But we have these 2 little boys that need to, and so here's the thing. A lot of times with children, we think children are so much less aware than we give them credit for. Remember we sat them down.
Yeah. The first time.
The first time,
yeah. The first time it was like, yo, look, we're not getting along.
Right.
Yo, we're arguing all the time. Look,
these dudes are like, oh, well, and then list off like 5 people. Well, such and such mom and dad are divorced, and such and such and such and such. So it wasn't them, it was us.
The baby was not with it though. He was like, yo, nah, yo, like, don't. What are you talking about? And the oldest was like, yo, no, it's just divorce. That's
yeah. So, but one thing that I remember telling you was like I know we're angry at each other right now, but we've got to be friends for them. Like they have to.
So that was my whole thing. My whole thing is I know it's not. Come on, I don't want to lose my family, and I was. We should do better. We should try to do better, just for the
Yeah, absolutely.
But I didn't look at I romantically. It's like, yo, she cannot stand me. Like, that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, she cannot fucking stand me. So, it was tough. And I think I was more concerned. I was more motivated to work with it because I didn't want to lose that.
Right. So, but we were able to find a way, even because it does take a while. And don't get me wrong. Like there was a very rough period where I hated him, he hated me, but
I was angry at you.
Angry,
I was
not
really
hate.
angry.
Like
Yeah.
I was really angry at you. You were really angry at me. But we had to heal that part for our kids. And what I see proliferating nowadays is such like vitriol for exes.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Especially like I don't care if you ain't got no kids. Like you all hate each other and slander each other all you want.
Right, right.
But if you have children,
Right.
then it's important for those kids to see you having a productive relationship. And how you do that, like and so let's backtrack. The reason why I fell in love with Joe and he fell in love with me is we have so much shit in common. Like we were literally friends first, right? There's a foundation there that lends to the relationship we have 20 years later because we enjoy each other's company. So all the romantic shit in between, it didn't work out. But that foundation of friendship is still there. So unless y'all just out here fucking people because you want to and accidentally having babies, right? Or multiple kids, then you can look back upon the reason why you enjoyed that person's company in the first place and focus on that so you guys can have a great relationship for your kids. And not just for your kids, because I love you as a friend.
Yeah, but
you know, but it is important to me, and I hope it's important to him, that our kids see us having a productive, successful relationship.
So for before we broke up, it's funny. Before we broke up, we were both angry.
Angry.
We walked around
all
angry.
The time.
We felt like we had the mean mugs all day, and our kids saw that. They started. Mm-hmm. They really started to be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what's why is everybody angry? Why are they so angry? Yeah. And then sometimes we would do stuff to excess, like drink, and it's like whatever, and then
to try to deal with
a part
what was going on at home. Right.
Your party night was Friday, mine was Saturday.
Right.
You go out on Friday.
Yeah.
I'll go out on Saturday.
Yeah. Because we had to watch the kids,
Right.
And then Sunday we usually just, it was me and the kids playing video games or whatever. But it was just me and KeYsha were angry in the house, walking around all the time.
Yeah.
So we broke up, and then I moved around the corner, and I think immediately, maybe not immediately, but a couple weeks later, I noticed that the kids saw, what's up? And they saw us without that stress.
Yeah,
and then they finally started seeing us happy and joyful. And we were able to communicate with the kids even more because it was like important and cherished. And but we were both happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You would come over to the crib and we'd go swimming and
and we still to this day we still do family things. And the reason, one of the major reasons that I wanted to do this show is I think it's been, what year is it? 2022. So we've been apart since 2014, and there's still.
When did we get divorced though? What year was that?
2017.
2017, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It took a while.
See when we get married.
What I only have one ex-husband. How many ex-wives do you have?
Right. Who, me?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So there's still people to this day that don't know that me and Joe are we're not married anymore, and that's a good thing, I guess, because we're still good friends and we still vibe with each other or whatever.
It freaks other people out.
And so just to kind of put it out there and let people know we're not together anymore.
Right.
But two, you can do it too. You can do it too. And a lot of times people focus on and I don't really know how to approach this in a sense of being a single woman with no kids and still being friends with her ex. I'm friends with most of my exes before you.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm friends with most of my exes before you. You're not though.
What do you mean?
But that's a whole nother.
What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm not? I'm friends with most of them. Well,
I'm friends with all but one.
okay, me too. I'm friends with all but one.
I don't believe you.
Two.
I had to beat up one.
3.
I almost have beat up one a couple of times.
So maybe a few. I'm not. Yeah, I
But
was.
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
I was an active dater.
Active dater. I'm not. So, but for like a couple with children, how to, or just stories about maintaining your relationship, and especially if you focus on the well-being of the children, then all of that other minutia and vitriol that you have for one another should melt away.
It has to be said though.
It does.
Yeah, it has to
We
be
established
said,
that at the beginning.
It has,
Like, I think the day that we like split, I was like, "Hey, look, this is fucked up right now,
yeah.
but we're still going to be a family."
Right. So then
Yeah.
I was so afraid of that. Like, you know what I mean? I was so afraid that, you know, I wouldn't see the kids and they're gonna rebel and all this, whatever. But see, it's gotta be said though.
Yeah.
We were friends, we respect each other,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't do nothing crazy to each other. It wasn't,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't anything that was like, it was hurtful. I get it. We tried to get past it.
Yeah, yeah.
We try to get past it, but some people have relationships where, like, for years and years, just they've been pained and, you know what I mean, abused and all that.
Yeah.
And some of those situations may not need to be.
Yeah, you're right.
Friendly,
And we're
you know
not,
what I'm saying?
no, we're not talking about abusive relationships, mentally or physically, but just
I was
the
abused.
confines of. In the confines of your average breakup. I'm not talking about abuse or anything like that. But if you just don't see eye to eye, or, you know, infidelity or other things that are not abuse, then we are here for you. So we appreciate you joining us along this ride. It should be fun. It should be insightful. Hopefully it'll make you think about your current relationship with your ex, and just let some shit go, yo. People are people, and they're gonna be who they're gonna be.
True.
And you either accept it or you don't. Right. But there's no need to spend a lot of energy on being angry.
Right.
Yeah.
That's important to say, because, you know, like Felicia told us earlier today, she was like, yo, people can hold, if you don't deal with it, you can hold on to the anger.
Yeah.
And the anger can start to be a part of, you know, who you are. Like,
absolutely.
It's part of your personality, just being angry about this thing that happens.
We want to help you let that anger shit go, and just be a better person for it. So this is our first episode.
Nice.
Did it go good?
I think so.
You think so? We'll be more organized next time. But we were organized today. We kind of were. Well, whatever. We'll see y'all next time. And enjoy. So you're next. What's next?